Good rockin' morning, everybody. And what a almost a pure blue sky, besides you never see a pure blue sky anymore. Not in the state of Michigan. It's always got a hazy look. So, yesterday I talked about dreams, the importance of sitting down long enough and having dreams. Day before I talked a lot about purpose and opportunities. So, today I want to talk about responsibility. And they all go hand in foot together. Our dreams take responsible decision making and choices. Our purpose is found throughout those. And our perspective. So, all my life I struggled in my 20s. And even in my early 30s. I thought my life just sucked, and actually it did. And I just thought the world was rude and cruel. And although sometimes the world and the people of power can be rude and cruel, it's not rude and cruel. It's only rude and cruel through our perspective. See, where we sit in life, unless you have some type of handicap or medical condition that isn't your fault, where we sit in life, where we are currently at right now, is exactly our fault. Everything. If you have a miserable life, your fault. I'm not saying some things might not have happened to you when you're younger and you just don't know how to escape that, right? But it is our responsibility to fix those things. But our current situation that we are in when we are in our 20s and our 30s is solemnly our fault. Unless, again, it was some medical situation or some health thing that you had no control over. That's completely different. I understand that. But where I was at in my 20s and 30s, a loser, a lowlife, homeless, not a dollar in my bank account, always struggling from the next paycheck to the next paycheck to the this, to the that, it was all my fault. Why was it all my fault? Because it was all my life choices and decisions I made that gave me that outcome. See, the world is a phenomenal place. And what I mean by that is, it will manifest what you are right into your backyard. It will manifest where your mindset is and the actions you take on a daily basis right into fruition. What we tell ourselves and the actions we take day in and day out is exactly the outcome we will get. You cannot get a different outcome than where your mindset's at and your actions, your actions or lack thereof actions. So I used to be the guy that used to look at another guy that was doing a little bit better than me in life, or a girl that was doing a little bit better than me in life. I used to think it must be nice. That attitude right there is the reason I was stuck. I was a loser. I was homeless. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. I was the individual you didn't want your kids to be around. That is the exact reason I was there. You ever find it funny how there's a 27-year-old millionaire and a 27-year-old homeless individual? You ever want to? It's very simple. It's perspective, mindset, and the actions an individual is willing to take or not willing to take to prevail in life. It's that simple. We overcomplicate everything. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't put the first foot forward and not worry about the consequences of the actions we're about to take. And what I mean by that is the setbacks, the failures, the looking stupid, the looking silly in the beginning, because you don't know. If your mouth is closed and you don't ask, when you don't know, you will get very little in life. You'll barely ever make any advancement in your life. So when I used to wander around and look at people that were doing better off than me and wonder and think that it must be nice, that attitude is exactly why I was where I was. Until an individual changes their actions, perspective, and mindset, nothing will change. I was an addict because that's how I dealt with some emotions I didn't know how to deal with when I was younger. So I resorted in numbing my feelings with a foreign substance, both alcohol and drugs. With that mindset, until I did some personal development, worked on myself for long enough, I couldn't shake that. It took me willing to do whatever it takes, legally, morally, and ethically, to no longer allow a foreign substance or liquid to have any control over me. Responsibility, action, and perspective is what changes a person's life. And that is it. It's not this person must know something. No, this person is willing to do something I'm not willing to do. That's what gives the other person the different outcome than us. That is it. We, as people, want to overcomplicate it and make a billion excuses of why we can't get that result. And the truth is, the other individual that you're saying, I was saying it must be nice to, was just willing to do the things I was not willing to do to get the outcome that I wanted that I didn't get. That's the bottom line. There is no, oh, this person just must be intelligent. This person just, no, it's not. It's got nothing to do with that. Intelligence is taking the actions needed to get a better outcome. That's intelligence. Just because you read a book and learned what's in the book doesn't make you intelligent. It makes you compliant and able to retain information. That does not make one intelligent. I know people that were book whizzes, and when it comes to what actually works in life, they have no clue. No clue. So it's not that other people know. Maybe after years of experience, they learn some tactics that work better. But it is not that somebody has it better. What it is one person is willing to put the work in and the other isn't. And the one, like me, that wasn't willing to put the work in, laid in the bed that I deserved to lay in. And then I wanted empathy from people. What a selfish jerk I was. I wanted empathy from people from the lack of actions I was taking in order to get the outcome that I could have got but chose not to get. That, my friends, is loser mindset. And that's what I was for years. Good morning, Nicole. So, the only difference between the person that you look at that might be a little further along, might have a little bit better relationships, might be financially in a little better spot, might be this, might be that we don't have, is action, discipline, consistency, and the willing to put the work in. That is it. That, my friends, is what intelligence is. Because here's what's not intelligent. Knowing what you gotta do, which most people do, knowing what you gotta do day in and day out to get the results that you want and not willing to do it. That is actually ignorant. You know what needs to be done, but you choose not to do it. That, my friends, is the exact opposite of intelligence. That is ignorance. Especially when you know exactly what to do, but choose not to take the actions. That was me, my friend. I was ignorant most of my life. And I'm not saying I'm smart today. I'm ignorant in a lot of stuff. Ask me to go take a tree down. I'm ignorant in it. I'm going to crush your house. Ask me to tear a 350 Chevy apart. I am going to jack it all the way up. Ask me where to invest in, and I'm going to lose all our money because I'm ignorant in that. But I learned a lot today by just taking action and being okay with looking silly while I was doing so to get a little better outcome. I was willing to let go of certain people I was around. I was willing to listen to other people that I did not know, that I clearly could tell had a better outcome than I had in life, take what they say, retain it, and apply it to my life. I was willing to shut out the world and work on myself long enough to see a little bit of results. Through doing that, I gained belief within myself. The belief comes after the work. You are not going to believe in yourself in the beginning of anything you start. You're not going to believe it's possible for you. Why? Because you haven't took any action to prove to yourself that it could be possible for you. And I don't care what situation you're in life, what your background was, what you were raised in. I have seen people come from nothing and become something. I have got a lot of friends like that now. They have came from the worst poverty you could ever imagine in your lifetime. The worst family members, the worst parents, to figuring out what worked, which is action, perspective, and what the hell you tell yourself in the belief that you're capable of achieving something. All my friends today that are in the 7-figure, 8-figure bracket in life, all of them came from shit. And I'm not saying it's got to be about your income status. What I'm saying is, if you are unhappy in your current circumstance or situation you are in today in your life, it is our responsibility to change that. Nobody else's. Nobody else. You can give somebody the perfect blueprint on how to do that. And if the person denies it, it's not going to happen for them. It actually saddens me. It saddens me, one, that I wasted well over a decade of my life, about 15 years, almost 20 years of my life, thinking that the world hated me, or God didn't love me, or this or that, or whatever wah factor and excuse that I created when I was the reason my outcome was my outcome. And that goes for all of us. Again, unless we have some type of disability or some type of medical situation that we didn't cause. And the reason I said medical condition that we didn't cause, because if you start smoking cigarettes when you're 16 like I did, and you know it says it may cause cancer, and you know people die from cancer, and you smoke 45 years and then cry when you get cancer, you knew it was going to give you cancer. You self-inflicted the cancer on yourself, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. If it's medically and it wasn't your fault, meaning you got cancer and there's cases where many people get cancer or an illness and they've lived a healthy lifestyle. And I understand people go through a lot of shit in life. I'm a human being too, and I went through a lot of shit in my life. I might not have went through your shit, but I went through a lot of shit. Just like you did. And life isn't hard. Or no, I'm going to take that. Life is hard. life isn't easy. And guess what? It wasn't made to be easy. Nothing great was ever made through ease. Tell me one thing you've ever done in your life that you just, oh my God, you were ecstatic about, and all you did is put a little squiggly on a piece of paper and it felt good. Never. It's the old saying. If it comes easy, it's not worth it. So our life isn't designed to be easy. And that's where a lot of our perspective, that's where my perspective was wrong when I was young. I thought it was just supposed to be easy. And because I was a good human being and I wanted good for others, that the good Lord was just going to grant me with the great opportunities. Guess what? That is delusional thinking, and it's never going to happen for you. Ever. We have to create the opportunity. We have to seize on the opportunity. And we have to be willing to put the work in the old you wasn't willing to put in. That, my friends, is how you get a different outcome in life. Not all these, I'll sell you a program, I'll life coach you for just $50,000. I'll make your life. No, that person ain't gonna make shit different. They're going to scam you out of your money, and if you still don't take the actions and apply what they teach you, you're still gonna have the shitty outcome. But people find a loophole on how to make hundreds of millions of dollars by saying, hey, I can get you there. Guess what? That person can't get you there. They might be able to assist you a little bit and pull from your bank account, but it's ultimately relies on you and me, in our actions, in our determination, in our ability to not quit when times get tough. That is what forges the way. It's not some special mentor that and I'm not saying anything like don't get a mentor. I have one. I don't even know if he knows it is, but I take his information to the heart and I apply it to my life. I actually almost believe that getting a better outcome and a better life is so much easier than this complicated world makes it to be. It's actions. Day in and day out actions. Our actions create our reality, or our lack thereof actions create our reality. Anxiety, depression, poverty, whatever. The struggle is real, but everybody has the same 24 hours in their day as the next. And you are perfectly capable, just as anybody else is, to decide a decision, to decide to make the right choices today, to win today. You have the ability to win today. I have the ability to win today. And then when you win today, do the same thing you did to win today the next day. And the next day. And you're not going to bat 1,000 and you're not going to win every day. But if you win more days than you don't, I guarantee your circumstances in life will change. It's unbreakable. It is impossible to put in the work and not get the reward. Here's the problem. The reward don't come fast enough. That's the problem. We are impatient beings, and because we changed something in our day today, and we made a good couple decisions today, we want the outcome today. That's not how life works. You might have to put that work in for a year. You might have to, no, you'll start seeing things in 90 days, 6 months, I guarantee it. But you might have to put a year, 2, 3, 5 in of different decisions, day in and day out, to get the different outcome you want in life. And most people, me included, for all my 20s and early 30s, was not willing to do that. You know why? Because I was arrogant. Because I thought I had all the answers and I didn't know shit. I thought the little voices in my head, the thoughts I had, was correct and nobody else knew shit. How arrogant, how selfish, and how ignorant that mindset is. And that was the mindset that I had. So we all have the ability to get a better outcome in life. That's the bottom. I don't care if you're a paraplegic. I follow a paraplegic that does tens of millions of dollars a year as a motivational speaker. That paraplegic could have laid down and nobody would have blamed him. He could have sat right in that wheelchair and he had all the excuses in the world to not push through. He found a purpose and he took the actions necessary to get himself on the stage to communicate and help change people's lives. He's now worth tens of millions of dollars. So what's our excuse? I'll tell you what our excuse is a lot of the times. It's we will not get out of our own damn way. Our little stubbornness, our arrogance about ourselves, our little selfishness, our little entitlement about ourselves. There's another word I'm looking for and I can't find it right now because it's not on the tip of my tongue. It's that pride we have that keeps us exactly where we're at. When there's a way out, and the way out is action, discipline, and consistency. Those are three things that are freaking free. They're free. You don't have to pay anybody to learn them. But what you do got to do, it's difficult. What you do got to do is pick a different action you're going to do today that's going to give you a different result down the road. That you have to do. And if you're not willing to do that, that's why you're not getting a different outcome in life. And I don't have all the answers, but I have done that long enough to get a different outcome in life. And I know it works. And I know if it worked for me, it can work for you. So I'm going to leave this on this. Our actions, or lack thereof actions, dictate the outcome of our life. Not your unhealthy relationship, significant other, spouse, ex, blah. If they're still controlling your life 5-10 years down the road, that's on you. It's on our responsibility to get a different outcome in life than we're currently at. If we are unhappy, if you're perfectly happy and you love life and life's great and you don't have to struggle for this bill and that bill and everything's gravy, this video is clearly not for you. But if you are that happy and you do not have to struggle all the time, you can contribute to this video because you know what I'm saying is absolutely true. I don't spew bullshit out of my mouth. I don't waste my time to spew shit that hasn't worked in my own life. If it didn't work in my life, I wouldn't waste my oxygen. But it has, and it can, and it will. So it disappoints me when I see other people going through things when it's only they feel I've been there, I felt there, I've been there, I've lived it, I felt it, I breathed it. Where you feel like there's no hope for your life. That is the devil playing on your shoulder. That is bullshit. It is your own mind creating the demise of our lives. You can start it today and reap the rewards in years to come. Or we can continue down the same old path and get the same old results and then die with regret. The choice is ours. I love you all. I hope you guys make the right choice.